I have broken my Fiat Panda 4x4, and this is a bad one. Now I just need to clarify that this actually happened around 2 months ago. So this was before I fitted the Abarth T-Jet engine, and it's when I was running the 1.4 litre 100 horsepower engine. But basically I was doing some local green laning with a few of my friends, and I did a part of a lane that I've done many times before, and I heard a really bad crunching sound coming from the rear. And as quick as that, my four-wheel drive system was no more. And that's because something happened in my rear differential. So the next day, me and my mechanic Jamie got the car on the lift, removed the back cover off the differential to see what the damage was. And it was pretty catastrophic. Essentially, every single planetary gear inside my rear differential had exploded. Ooh. Oh, oh dear, oh dear. Now, there's a few reasons why this happened to this differential. Number one, it is the weakest point of the diff. They are the smallest gears and they take quite a lot of load. And at the time I was running the 100 horsepower engine, so I was running almost double the horsepower that this differential was designed to handle. But also I'm running a mechanical coupler to control the four-wheel drive system. So I have control when it's two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. But that means when I'm in four-wheel drive, it is a mechanical lock which essentially acts like a central diff lock, and there is no give in the drivetrain at all. Originally, the car runs one of these, and this is a viscous coupling. Now, essentially inside this section here, there is some fluid and some clutch plates, and when the car senses slip, it will then lock the clutch plates together and then send power to the rear wheels. But there's always a slight element of give and slip with this system, so it kind of squishes the power going from the front differential to the rear. Whereas at the moment, I've got a mechanical lock. So that's obviously supplied a lot more strain on the drivetrain, which has caused all the planetary gears in my rear differential to explode. But do not fear, because there is a company out there called 141 World, and they have made something which will absolutely transform Pedro the Panda. So essentially, 141 World specialise in the earlier Panda 141 model, and they kind of rally spec them, get them ready for some extreme off-roading. The most popular product is an automatic locking rear differential. They've been making them for years for the 141 Panda, but now they are finally starting to make it for my model Panda, and I have bought one from them, and I'm going to fit it to Pedro the Panda. Now the great thing is, everything that has failed in my rear differential is replaced with this kit, which means that the weakest point of my rear differential will be replaced with a much stronger part, and also it is a self-locking differential, which means when I engage four-wheel drive, this will kick in and it will be a 100% locked rear axle. So when you open the box, you get some stickers, you get an instruction manual, you get a badge to put on the back of your car, which I will definitely be fitting to Pedro, and then you get the kit itself. Now, I'm not going to pretend like I know exactly how this system works, but I'll try and explain my best. So this is inside the rear differential of my Panda 4x4, and as you can see, when you give it power, this will spin and then spin the two drive shafts going to the rear wheels. Basically, the gears inside here, which are called the planetary gears, which are the four gears that run inside here, they are what failed. And essentially, we're going to remove this, split the crown wheel, get inside here, remove the central pin, and the central pin will run in the middle of these two components, which are the parts from the 141 World automatic rear locker. And when there's no power going to the rear, essentially these teeth will slide along each other, so you'll kind of hear a ratcheting noise when you're turning a corner in two-wheel drive. But then when it senses power, the pin will slightly push on these two parts, cause these two bits to lock, and that's when you've got a fully locked rear axle. Now, luckily I had a spare differential to put in Pedro the Panda, so this didn't stop me from using him. But if I didn't have a spare one, this would have been catastrophic. Anyway, so now it's time to get Pedro on the ramp, get the back cover off the differential, and get these parts fitted. So Jamie is getting Pedro on the ramp. He's a little bit hungover today, aren't you, Jamie? Yeah. Thanks for working on Pedro, my pride and joy while you're hungover. Anyway, while he's getting that on the ramp, I'm going to quickly show you a little bit of a closer look at this kit. So, number one, instructions. They look to be very detailed, so that should make fitting this kit a lot easier. Now, I've spoken to these guys quite a lot, and they do know their stuff. They've been kind of rally prepping the Panda 141s for years. They say these kits should last forever, and they've done some extensive testing on the 169 Panda, which is what model number mine is. So they've done a lot of testing, and this should last the test of time. Although I am running an Abarth engine, so we'll just have to see how we get on. But these are some locking pins with some springs, which will make sense later on when we're fitting it up. There are some shim washers, and then there's 2 parts to each side. But the level of detail and the quality of these parts, I mean, you look at that. These kits are normally quite popular in stuff like Jeeps and stuff. Obviously, they're going to be a lot bigger than what I'm running. This is probably one of the smallest kits you can buy. I even think the 141 Panda has a beefier rear diff than mine. But yeah, so this kit is going to be a bit of a game changer, I think. So when I'm driving normally in 2-wheel drive, it won't be engaged, but you'll hear like a ratcheting noise. And then when it engages, it'll be a fully locked rear diff. So let's get it up in the air. Need to take the back cover off the diff that's on the car and start stripping it down. Left-hand side is fully stripped down. The rear diff has been drained. Just got to do the same on the right-hand side. Then it's a case of lowering the rear diff down, removing the back cover, and start the diff strip down. Just a little side note, this is why I didn't want to spend so much time making my exhaust. I've been off-road once, it's already got a massive gouge in it. Rear diff has been lowered, mounts have been removed. We're just undoing the back cover now. So next thing to do, undo these 4, remove the unit, split the crown wheel, then we can get access to in there. Right, time to slide it out carefully. Might need a little persuasion.
Yep, it needs some persuasion.
Shall I support the back? Oh, there we are. Slide her out. Careful does it. Careful. Careful. Oh.
The shims as well.
Oh, yeah. There it is. Look how small that is. You get that quite a lot. Right.
Excuse me?
Look at that. So there is the baby differential. Look how small it is. That is minute. Look at that.
This is critical.
So it all goes back in the same way.
Yeah, by the looks of it, the shims are the same.
Okay.
But I don't want to get a micrometer out and check, so.
So a little tap.
There we go.
Shall we do differential marking ASMR?
Nice.
So that central pin just literally taps out.
Yeah. And then they'll all fall out.
Yeah. And
And
it's
then we'll
a
just
case
shove
of
those
putting-
in.
Yeah. There are instruction.
Ah, we don't need instructions.
Okay, I think maybe you should read the
I
instructions.
probably should read.
Okay, let's read the instructions.
You've got to file the corners, it's saying.
Ooh.
That came out a lot easier than I thought it was going to. That pin.
Have you ever seen a diff this small?
No, it fits in the palm of my hand.
It's mad, isn't it? And I'm trying to run 150 horsepower through that.
That's those. Got the shims as well.
So if we look at those planetary gears compared to, here are some I made earlier.
Oh, you made them good, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. So they are what failed.
Yeah, no teeth at all.
Nope. So
And that was with what engine, Aaron?
yeah, that was with 100 horsepower, and
How
I've got
much horsepower have you got now?
50% more,
Ooh,
and
it's going
probably
well,
almost
isn't
70% more torque. But these have been tested in Poland with a diesel Panda 4x4, which was remapped, so it has roughly the same torque as what I'm running with the Abarth engine. So hopefully we'll be okay. But if it blows up, it's not the product's fault, it's the car's fault. This is all research and development. Right, so diff is stripped. According to the instructions, we have to shave a little bit of material off in all four corners. I think there's one side which is bigger than the other, I think, from memory maybe.
That side looks bigger.
Which side?
Maybe.
Maybe they're both the same size.
I don't know.
So we've put in the two side parts just to test fitment, and they slot in nicely. But it does look like we will have to shave down the carrier, because when you try and slide in the unit, it's just the corners which touch. So just got to shave off a little bit, which was the same as the 141 Panda rear diff. We just wanted to confirm it was definitely the same, but yeah, that should be straightforward enough. So I guess we've got to mount it in the vise, shave some bits down, and then get all the parts in. Shaving down is done, so now time to remove all of the last little bits of swarf by putting it in the parts wash. And that is a lovely and clean differential carrier. So time to build it back up. Diff casing clean, dried. Time to fit the 141 self-locking diff. So let's put 2 side bits in first.
They move nicely. Right, and then
Might give them a bit of a clean.
yeah, I'll clean them before I put them in. So then that's that way. So then it just wants a pin, a spring and a pin. That way around.
Because one of the holes is slotted.
Yeah. That one's slotted and that one's slotted.
So are they the ones that have the pins, I'm guessing?
I don't know. But I would have thought so.
So we have the set of pins and springs. So the pins on their own go in just the round holes, and then there's a set of slotted holes which then house the springs and the pins. Isn't that exciting, eh?
It's very exciting.
Look at that. They
I
all
can't
go
even
in there.
contain my excitement. Okay.
So I'm guessing they go adjacent to each other. Like so. Yeah?
Wow.
There we are.
Wow.
So springs and pins are in place for the central bit. Then we've got to put these, what would you call them, spacers? Washer spacers?
Spacer thing.
They go in a specific way. Which way do they go in?
So the cutout here lets it slot onto that bit in there. That bit there.
Okie dokie.
So then solid bit in the middle, so they go together like this.
Cool.
And I'm hoping I can just slot them in here
Oh, okay.
and then put the whole thing in together. Like that.
So I don't know if it'd be easier to put that in the vise and then feed it in. Because you've got to turn it 180, haven't you, when it's in? Or turn it
Yeah.
90.
It's going to be a
Bit
bit of a
fiddly.
struggle. Because it needs to be compressed as it goes in as well.
This is probably the most fiddliest bit.
Okay. Now we turn to line up the hole, and then we just need to pull them bits out in the middle so they can slide in, and then just line the hole up like that.
Nice.
You see the hole?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's weird because the centre hole isn't perfectly round. But that is kind of how the whole system works. So when you send power to the rear, that's what spreads open the central bit, which locks on to the 2 outers. Look at that, eh? Just look at it. So there is something we haven't noticed, that we were under the impression that you just tap the centre shaft bit out. But it turns out it looks like there's a little roll pin, which we probably should have pressed out beforehand, which we weren't aware of. Every day is a school day.
Everything's in. Just got to keep these middle spacery little bits out with one finger. And that slots in nice.
Lovely. And then remember to put the roll pin in.
Yeah.
Don't want to forget that, because we definitely knew that that was there before, didn't we?
100%.
Yeah.
We can just
tap that back in.
yeah.
Nice.
Maybe. Yeah, chisel
Yeah.
in there, and then
the
we
other
just
side.
pretend that this is one piece.
Yeah, definitely did not break it off.
No, did not break off.
roll pin has been inserted.
Just have a little check down there to see where we're at.
Okay. And then, once we've done that, in the instructions it says we have to measure the distance between the two intersections of the rear locker, of the diff locker. It says 3.6 to 4.3 mil.
Just tap that in just a little bit. Good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a vernier, and shall we measure?
Yeah, so ideally I'd want to use this side, but I can't really get in there. So we're going to do the best eyeballing we can.
That's what we do.
That is what we do. So I reckon that is about it. About there. Which is intolerance.
Within spec.
Within spec.
So maybe we can do a final check when it's actually mounted up on the car, but I think that's all good. Look at that, eh? Look at that little baby locking rear diff. Isn't that exciting? So now it's time to put it all back together and get it back in the car. Wow.
Just a smidgen.
Yeah, we don't need to talk them.
Let's talk. To be honest, I'm glad this diff isn't any bigger because it's not very heavy, which is nice.
It's easy to
Shove in. Lovely.
just clean the mounting faces for the back cover to go on. I've also cleaned the magnet pickup, which is like the kind of filter for the rear diff. This stuff is the best stuff to make a gasket on a mating face. So we're going to put a thin bead around here and then squish it back on, do it up, drain the last little bit of oil out, top it up, reassemble things, then we can test it. It's clean. everything's back together at the rear. And now, if we spin one wheel, you hear that ratcheting noise, which sounds like something's broken, but that is normal, and the other wheel's not moving. And then soon when we lower the car down, we'll select the forward drive, and that should engage both the wheels, and then the rear will be completely locked. So it looks like we are all done. Exhaust back box is on. Time to get Pedro off the ramp, and then we'll show you a quick demonstration in the car park with it unengaged, so then you'll hear the kind of clicking noise, and then we'll engage the forward drive, and you'll probably hear the rear tyre scrub quite a lot, but that will show that it's working. And then once that's confirmed, I can put on the mighty sticker.
Just about hear it.
Yeah, you can hear it. Because people were complaining of the noise and I can't hear it at all.
Well, you can barely hear it out here.
Right, let's engage forward drive. Let's see what happens.
Oh, look at the scrubbing. Oh, it's like a drift machine now. Well, Aaron, there's only one thing for it. There's a nice corner there that you can get the back end out on. Good boy.
Maybe I should try in second.
Was that in first?
Yeah.
Maybe try in second.
Let's try second. That's a little bit better.
That's better. Basically a rally driver.
That is very impressive.
It's good.
There's one more thing we have to do. Good sticker.
Sticker.
So we're now out on the road, and the question is, what is it like to drive with the 141 World self-locking rear differential? And to be honest, there's no difference at all. There's no sound coming from the rear. Even when I'm going around a corner, that ratcheting noise that I thought would be louder, I can't hear at all from the inside. You can barely hear it from the outside. I'm guessing it'll be the same if I was running a viscous coupling instead of my mechanical coupler. That shouldn't change anything, because in normal driving, the viscous coupling would be disconnected and it would only connect up when it senses wheel slip. But yeah, I mean, on normal driving on the road, there is no difference at all, no extra noise. This is actually 1 week later from fitting the kit to the car, because I wanted to do a few test miles in it to make sure it was all okay. And yeah, the last 200 miles I've done this week so far, it's been absolutely fine. But the final test is to see what is it like off-road. Can you feel the difference with the self-locking rear differential? Right, we have got to a small local lane. So it's time, for the first time, to try out the 141 World self-locking rear differential. So admittedly, conditions aren't that bad today, to be honest, at all. But there is zero slip coming from the rear. That is just pushing us along way better than the original open differential would. Oh. Yeah, I mean, this is a big improvement. So overall, what are my opinions on the 141 World self-locking rear differential for the Panda 169? First of all, build quality, absolutely spot on. It went straight into the unit. The instructions were clear on what you had to do to fit the kit to the car. And I think anyone at home with minimal tools could fit the kit. I think the hardest bit to do at home would be to sand down the differential housing and then cleaning it out thoroughly. Apart from that, I think you could easily fit this kit at home. But the question is, how long would it last with the Abarth T-Jet engine pushing 150 horsepower through that rear differential? Well, we'll find out in time. Like I said earlier in the video, they have tested the kit with a diesel Panda 4x4, which has similar torque to the Abarth T-Jet engine, and it held up to that power perfectly fine. So fingers crossed it'll be okay with a T-Jet engine, but we'll find out. Anyway, thank you very much for watching my video. I hope it was informative. If you're thinking about buying this kit, I would recommend it. I reckon it's going to be absolutely game-changing off-road. Stay tuned for the next video coming up on my channel. I've got some exciting things coming. Comment your thoughts down below. Think about subscribing to this channel as well. I've got a lot more exciting things to do to Pedro the Panda and a lot more adventures to go on. And if you haven't already, follow me on Instagram, which is the Panda 4x4. And I'll see you on the next video.